All right, so we're diving deep today, getting you prepped for a building electrician interview.
Should be interesting.
We've got our trusty career guide, an interview guide, and some cool info on RoleCatcher.
All the tools, basically.
Exactly. So, you can really nail this interview. And speaking of nailing it,
I think I see where you're going with this.
did you know the job outlook for electricians is projected to grow by 8% through 2029?
Wow, 8%. That's impressive.
It is pretty electrifying, right?
I see what you did there. But yeah, definitely a good sign for anyone thinking about this career.
For sure. Okay, so before we hit those interview questions,
Which, let's be honest, that's what everyone's here for.
right, let's break down what a building electrician actually does.
The nuts and bolts.
Yep. The career guide talks about installing and maintaining electrical systems, make sure everything's safe, understanding those existing layouts.
Those can be tricky.
Definitely. And even, figuring out ways to improve setups.
It's problem solving, but with, like, electricity.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more than just, wires and circuits.
Oh, for sure. You're talking about keeping buildings powered up safely and efficiently. I mean, think about it. Everyone who uses that building relies on you.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Big
It's
responsibility.
huge. Imagine the electrical system in a hospital, right?
Whoa, yeah, can't have any hiccups there.
Not at all. So it's not just a job, it's making a real impact.
Okay, so let's say you're thinking, yeah, this is the career for me.
Awesome.
The guide lays out these 3 stages: entry level, junior electrician, and then senior building electrician.
Climbing that ladder.
Right. And each stage comes with, more responsibility.
Which makes sense.
Totally.
Mm.
What stands out to you about this progression?
Well, it's not just about the technical stuff,
Okay. Yeah.
As you move up, there's this emphasis on leadership and even mentoring others.
Interesting.
So you're not just handling tougher tasks, you're guiding and training people too. That's huge for a long-term career.
Makes sense. And speaking of building that career, let's tackle those interview questions. We've got 10 samples from the interview guide.
Perfect.
We'll break down what the interviewer's really asking, brainstorm some approaches.
Get those answers polished.
Ready to start.
Absolutely. Hit me with the first one.
All right, question 1. What motivated you to pursue a career as a building electrician? Sounds simple, right?
You'd think so, but it's easy to stumble on this one.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, it's your chance to show real passion,
Huh?
The interviewer wants to see you're not just clocking in and out, but genuinely interested in the work itself.
Ah, I see. The guide suggests focusing on your interest in electrical systems and your desire to work in the building industry.
Right, but it needs to be more than just, I like working with my hands.
So how do you make it stand out?
Tell a story.
Ooh, a story, okay.
Yeah, like was there a specific project that got you hooked? Or maybe you helped someone rewire something and thought, whoa, this is cool.
So make it personal.
Exactly. That's what makes it memorable.
Now, what about a follow-up question like, why did you choose this company?
Oh, that's where research is key. You got to highlight something specific about the company, something that resonates with you.
Like what?
Maybe they're big on sustainability or have a great reputation for training.
Right, so show you've done your homework.
Exactly. They want to see that you're genuinely interested in them, not just any open position.
Okay, moving on to question 2. What experience do you have with electrical systems in commercial buildings?
Getting more specific now?
Totally. What are they getting at here?
They're checking your hands-on experience, your ability to handle those complex commercial systems.
So time to bring up specific examples.
For sure. And remember, the guide mentions those technical drawings and schematics. If you've got experience with those, definitely highlight it.
Okay, but what if you haven't worked on a ton of commercial projects?
That's all right. Focus on transferable skills.
What do you mean?
Well, did you do any complex residential work, any specialized courses or certifications? Even shadowing someone in a commercial setting is valuable.
Ah, so show you're eager to learn, even if you haven't done it all.
Exactly. Adaptability is key in this field.
Okay, question number 3. How do you ensure compliance with electrical codes and regulations?
Safety first, always.
Absolutely. What are they looking for with this one?
Someone who's meticulous, safety conscious. It's not enough to just know the codes. You got to show you take them seriously, understand why they're so important.
The guide mentions being familiar with local and national electrical codes, but how do you go beyond just listing them?
Give a real-life example, like, did you ever have to apply a specific code, maybe double-checking someone's DIY wiring?
Showing, not just telling.
Exactly. Walk them through your process.
What if they throw a curveball? Ask about a code you're not totally familiar with.
Honesty is best. It's okay to say, I'm not 100% on that specific detail, but I'm always researching and staying up to date.
Right, so you're showing that you're proactive.
Exactly. Compliance is an ongoing thing. It's not just a one-time deal.
Okay, on to question 4. How do you troubleshoot electrical problems in a building? This one sounds pretty technical.
It can be, but you've got to explain it in a way that anyone can understand.
How do you do that?
Think of it like a puzzle.
A puzzle.
Yeah. You gather the clues, analyze them, and then use what you know to find the solution.
Okay, I like that.
So walk them through your thinking, the steps you take. The guide mentions testing equipment and research. Work those in too.
So like specific tools and resources you use.
Exactly. Multimeter, voltage tester, those technical manuals you mentioned.
Right, show you're resourceful.
Yep. You're not just going in blind. You've got a whole arsenal of knowledge and tools at your disposal.
Okay, question 5. How do you manage time and prioritize tasks when working on multiple projects at once?
Ooh, yeah, that juggling act.
Right. I can feel the stress already.
This one's all about your organizational skills. They want to know you can handle a busy schedule without dropping the ball.
The guide says to highlight those skills and your ability to prioritize. But how do you prove it?
Share a real example. Tell them about a time you had multiple projects with deadlines. Maybe used a to-do list, a project management app, whatever you do.
Show them your system.
Exactly. Give them a glimpse into how you operate under pressure.
All right, question 6. It's a big one. How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when working with electrical systems?
Can't mess around with safety.
Nope, definitely not. They want to know you're not just aware of the rules, but that you live by them. Prioritize safety, basically.
The guide says to highlight your adherence to regulations.
Right, but go beyond the basics.
Like wearing protective gear.
That's a given. Talk about lockout tagout procedures. Making sure the power is O off F before you go poking around.
Right, of course. What else shows you're safety conscious?
Mention any extra safety certifications you have.
Okay.
Or maybe you spotted a hazard on a job site and, took care of it. Being proactive shows you're serious about safety. Got it. Okay, on to question 7. How do you stay updated on new electrical technologies and advancements in the industry?
This is huge. Things are changing so fast.
Yeah, it's not like you learned it once and you're done.
Exactly. They want to know you're curious, that you're embracing the new stuff.
The guide mentions industry associations and publications.
Yeah, but don't just list them.
So what should you do?
Talk about something you're excited about. Smart home tech, energy efficiency, whatever gets you fired up.
Show that passion.
Exactly. Let them see you're engaged in where the field's going.
Okay, time for a leadership question. Question 8. How do you manage and lead a team of electricians on a large-scale project?
All right, stepping up.
For those who want to take charge.
Exactly. But leadership isn't just about bossing people around.
No, definitely not.
It's about motivating your team, delegating tasks well, solving problems together.
Right, teamwork.
Exactly. The guide mentions describing your leadership style.
But how do you do that without sounding, braggy?
Talk about a successful project, a time when you really had to lead. Focus on the teamwork aspect, how you all overcame challenges together.
So it's not me, it's we.
Right. It's about the team's success. And if they ask about conflicts,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
focus on communication, listening to everyone, and finding solutions that work for the whole team.
Makes sense. Okay, question 9. How do you ensure customer satisfaction when working on electrical projects in a building?
Happy customers, happy life.
Right.
This is about communication, professionalism, going that extra mile,
The guide says to talk about your customer service philosophy.
which is important.
But how do you stand out?
Give them a specific example, a time when you went above and beyond, maybe explain something clearly, or were just super patient.
Show them you care.
Exactly.
All
It's
right.
about building those relationships.
Okay, last one in this set, question 10. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements with team members or clients?
Ooh, the dreaded conflict question.
It's bound to happen, right?
On any job site, they're looking for someone who stays calm, professional, and finds solutions.
The guide suggests describing your conflict resolution philosophy.
Which is good.
But how do you make it real, not just some textbook answer?
Tell a story. Think of a conflict you successfully handled. What steps did you take? How did you communicate? What compromises were made?
Make it relatable.
Exactly. And if they ask about escalating things to a supervisor,
Yeah, when you do that.
always try to solve it at the lowest level first. But if you have to escalate, explain how you do it respectfully with clear documentation.
Okay, we've tackled those 10 interview questions. Now, before we move on,
To the next batch.
yep, I want to talk about RoleCatcher.
Oh yeah, it's a game changer.
It can really boost your prep. They've got these AI-powered tools to help you tailor your answers, for specific jobs.
Exactly. Imagine practicing your answers, getting feedback, even identifying those areas where you need to, brush up.
That's like having a personal career coach.
Pretty much. All right, ready for the next round of questions?
Bring them on. You can really boost your prep. They've got these AI-powered tools to help you tailor your answers, for specific jobs.
Exactly. Imagine practicing your answers, getting feedback, even identifying those areas where you need to, brush up.
It's like having a personal career coach.
Pretty much. All right, ready for the next round of questions?
Bring them on.
Okay, so this next question, it kind of shifts gears a little bit. It asks, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the electrical industry today, and how do you see yourself contributing to solutions? It's not just about the day-to-day work anymore.
It's bigger picture stuff, right?
Exactly. They want to know you're thinking about the industry as a whole, where it's headed.
The guide suggests doing some research on industry trends.
Yeah, things like the shift towards renewable energy, those super complex building systems we see nowadays, and the push for energy efficiency.
Right, right. But everyone's going to be talking about those, so how do you make your answer stand out?
You connect those trends to your skills and experience.
Oh, I see.
How can your expertise help solve those challenges? Maybe you're passionate about sustainable building, or you've got experience with smart home tech, or you're a whiz at troubleshooting those complex systems.
We'll show them what you bring to the table.
Exactly. Now, they might follow up with something like, what are you doing to stay ahead of the curve with all this new technology and stuff?
Ooh, good one.
So you talk about your commitment to learning. Are you taking courses, going to conferences, reading industry publications?
Show that you're proactive.
Right. The industry is always changing, so you got to stay curious. Okay, moving on to question 17. Describe your experience with different types of electrical equipment and tools. Now, this one's all about showing your practical skills.
Hands-on experience.
Exactly. They want to see that you're comfortable using all sorts of tools and that you really understand how they work.
The guide says to list the tools you've used.
Which is important, but...
Don't just rattle off a list.
Right. Pick a few key pieces of equipment that are relevant to the job you're applying for, and then describe how you've used them on actual projects.
So, tell a little story about how you used a multimeter to troubleshoot a tricky problem, or how you used a conduit bender in a tight spot.
Exactly. Bring your experience to life.
Okay, what if they ask about a specific tool that's not on your list?
Honesty is the best policy. If you've never used it, just say so.
No.
But you can still show that you're eager to learn. You could say something like, while I haven't used that specific model, I'm familiar with similar types of equipment and I'm a quick learner.
So you're showing them you're adaptable.
Exactly. Okay, next up is question 18. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult or unexpected situation on a job site. How did you handle it? Job sites can be unpredictable.
Things don't always go as planned.
Never. They want to see that you can think on your feet, adapt to changes, and stay calm under pressure.
The guide suggests picking a situation where you had to improvise.
Yeah, find a situation where you've faced a real challenge, but not something catastrophic,
Right, right. So you showed you were resourceful, you found a creative solution. But what if they ask, looking back, what would you have done differently?
That's a good one. You can use that to show that you're always learning and growing. Maybe there was a communication breakdown you could have avoided, or a different problem-solving approach you could have tried.
It's about continuous improvement.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about safety again. Question 19 asks, what are some of the most important safety precautions you take when working with electrical systems? This one's all about showing them that safety is your top priority.
Always got to be safe.
Absolutely. They want to see that you understand the risks and that you're proactive about preventing accidents.
The guide says to go beyond the basics, like wearing protective gear and following lockout procedures.
Right, that's a given. But to really stand out, you need to show them that you go above and beyond.
How do you do that?
Well, do you have any extra safety certifications? Have you implemented any innovative safety practices in your previous jobs? Share an example of a time when you spotted a potential hazard and took action to prevent an accident.
So you're not just following the rules, you're actively looking for ways to make things safer.
Exactly. Now, they might throw in a curveball and ask, have you ever had to correct a coworker for unsafe practices? How did you handle it?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, but it's important to show that you're willing to speak up when you see something unsafe, even if it means having a difficult conversation.
So how do you approach that?
You could say something like, I would approach my coworker respectfully and explain the potential dangers of their actions. I would emphasize the importance of following safety protocols and offer to help them correct their practices. It's all about communication and teamwork.
Okay, on to the last question in this set. Question 20. What are your salary expectations? This one can be a little awkward.
It can be, but it's important to be prepared for it.
The guide says to do your research on industry salary ranges.
Which is crucial. You need to know your worth.
Right, but how do you avoid pricing yourself out of the running?
It's a balancing act. Start by showing your enthusiasm for the opportunity and emphasizing that you're more interested in finding the right fit than focusing solely on salary.
Okay, so start positive.
Exactly. Then you can give them a salary range based on your research and your experience. You could say, based on my experience and the current market rate, I'm looking for a salary in the range of X to Y.
So you're being flexible, but you're also confident.
Exactly. And if they ask about other benefits that are important to you,
Like health insurance, vacation time, that kind of thing.
right, this is your chance to mention those. But be strategic, don't overwhelm them, just focus on a few key benefits that are really important to you.
Got it. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We've talked about the skills you need, how to answer those tricky interview questions, and how RoleCatcher can help you prepare. Hopefully you're feeling more confident about landing that building electrician job.
Absolutely. And remember, the job search can be tough, but don't give up. Stay positive, keep learning, and use all the resources available to you, like RoleCatcher.
And never forget about safety. It's the most important thing.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Good luck with your interviews.